What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to be getting into my week 4 NBA Power Rankings now, I believe so. Yes, it is. It's crazy, man. 4 weeks already into the NBA. 3 weeks, but this is week 4 right now. So let's get into these rankings, starting out with the last team. Number 30, staying at the same spot. We got the Houston Rockets. And then number 29, staying at the same spot, we got the Magic. I know the Rockets just beat the Magic today, but I still think the Magic have a little bit more talent on the side of the ball. These two teams, very self-explanatory. I just don't think they're very well-coached basketball teams. They got a lot of talent, but when will that talent kick in? They got a lot of young pieces, but it's just rebuilding clearly still for both of these franchises. And I just think that right now, they're just not very well coached, and they're just not very good basketball teams. So they're the two worst teams in the league, in my opinion. Number 28, disappointing start to the year. We have the Detroit Pistons, at 3-8. Went 1-3 this week. Very frustrated with the Detroit Pistons, man. A team that you expect more from, with Kate Cunningham's second year, and then they traded for Bojan Bogdanovic. But I do think this team, well deservedly so, should be put in the bad tier. I'm not really going to look at them too much different than the Magic and the Rockets. I do think that they have a little bit more talent there. And I had a lot more faith in the Pistons entering into the year than those two. So I still believe in the Pistons right now, but that was a rough week for the Pistons, and they're going to have to come down for it. Just showing why they're just not very good. Let's be honest. Moving on to number 27, we're going to have the Indiana Pacers jumping up a spot. Still in the bad tier for me for the Pacers at 5-5. The Pacers are just a weird team, man. In my opinion, they have the least amount of talent in the whole league. Top to bottom. I mean, you look at these three teams, you would expect them to be a better team. But the Pacers, they're just a scrappy team, man. Right now, they've shown how to win. They're very well coached, I think. Play solid defense, play good enough offense to get some wins, pull off a few upsets here and there. And that's really what they are. I mean, this has been a much surprising start, in my opinion, for the Pacers. It's still a rebuild year, but just a surprising start for Indiana at 5-5. Let's move on to number 26. We're going to have the Oklahoma City Thunder jumping up a spot and back into the decent tier from where they were early on in the year. Thunder starting to get some things figured out. They did only go 1-2 this week. Never mind. I'm going to put this team back in the bad tier. I do think that they're still a bad basketball team, but still, the Thunder, figuring out some things this week. They got some talent with Gilius Alexander, a lot of draft picks, of course, got a lot of young pieces there. Very similar team to the Pacers, but I just think that they're more talented. They're a scrappy basketball team, and they're going to come away with some wins at times, but just don't expect too much from that team going forward. All right, so now let's get into the decent tier. Starting out with the number 25 team, we have the Los Angeles Lakers at 2-7. Going to be dropping down 4 spots. LeBron James not playing right now against the Jazz. The Jazz are actually playing right now against the Lakers. But yeah, this Lakers team, I mean, other than LeBron James, Anthony Davis has been very underwhelming. Russell Westbrook is Russell Westbrook right now. He's just not very good. And outside of that, they have next to nothing. It is just sad in Los Angeles. And I had to recognize that. This is a team sport, and it's proven that you can't just have 2 superstars, or even 3 if you want to call Westbrook a star, go out and win a championship for you. You got to have some pieces around them. And this Lakers team just does not have that. And it's costing them games. They're 2-7 right now. They're almost into this bad tier. Actually, this is not the decent tier. Let me change this. This is in the hunt. But yeah, I'm frustrated with the Lakers, man. this is just a team that won the championship a few years back, and ever since then, this team has been very underwhelming. You just do not like to watch the Lakers play. They're just not a good team right now, and they got to figure some things out, or else they're gonna climb down into the bad tier. With LeBron James, I never thought that he would get down there, but it's definitely a possibility right now. All right, let's move on to number 24. We're gonna have the Sacramento Kings jumping up 2 spots at 3-5. Kings did lose, or I'm not sure why. They're actually dropping down a spot. I'm not sure why. Sorry about that. But the Kings went 0-2 this week. Just kind of a frustrating week for the Kings. Yeah, I mean, this team's just not really played well right now. And it shows on, I mean, this team just, same old Kings, man. Here, sorry, okay, I'll figure that out later. But anyway, the Kings, just same old Kings, man. They expect a lot from every year. They expect to at least make the play-in tournament, give their fans something to watch for. It's just comical, man. The Kings, 3-5, just classic Kings, man. This team just does not go places really at all. We're gonna have to see if they can make a run. I wouldn't say this year is their best chance to do so, but you never know, man. That's what the Kings are here for. They want to make the playoffs at some point. They've just been such an irrelevant franchise. Let's move on to number 23. We're going to have the Charlotte Hornets dropping down a spot. Very frustrating year so far for Charlotte. Where even are they? There they are. At 3-8, man. The Hornets. I mean, I know LaMelo Ball is out for the... Isn't he out? I think so. Let me check real quick, though, just in case, or if he came back. Yeah, man, it's just Gordon Hayward leading the show right now for the Hornets. Without LaMelo Ball, this team is just... It's just not very good, and that's showing right now. They need to get him back, or else this team could get themselves in a big hole that they can't climb out of. I still believe in the Hornets, but we're going to have to see if they can turn things around. Let's move on to number 22. We're going to have the San Antonio Spurs dropping down 2 spots. I just think I jumped them up too high after a 5-1 start. They lost 4 straight this week, so they definitely came back down to earth here. Greg Popovich, though, I said it in the last, it's just amazing how good of a head coach he is. He continues to prove it week in and week out, even if this team lost 4 straight. Just not a lot of talent on that Spurs roster, but they're still a very competitive team. Let's go to number 21. We're going to have the Washington Wizards jumping up 3 spots. Last team in the hunt here. The Wizards are 5-6 right now. Bradley Beal, Kristaps Porzingis, about what the Wizards I expected them to be. Got a high-powered offense. This defense kind of sucks for the Wizards. Not very well coached here, but just a team with some firepower, a few pieces around them to help. But overall, just probably not a very scary team, and not a team that I expect to go on a deep run in the playoffs, or I don't even think they're going to make the play-in tournament. So we're going to have to see what happens with the Wizards. All right, so that is the In the Hunt here. Let's get into the play-in tournament here. Starting out with number 20, we're going to have the New York Knicks jumping up 3 spots. Knicks at 4-5. They did go 1-2 this week, so not the greatest of all weeks for the Knicks, but a lot of teams dropped below them, like the Spurs and the Hornets and the Lakers teams. Well, the Lakers were above them. So teams like that drop below them, so they're gonna be rewarded for that, just like the Wizards are. Still, same Knicks team that I think we know. Just not a lot of talent. I mean, they got Jalen Brunson, they got Randall. I think they're solid coach. I think that really separates them over the Wizards. It's very tight between the Wizards and the Knicks. I do think that the Knicks are just slightly a better basketball team, but it's tight, man. I wouldn't argue either way. That I could go either way with those two. But right now, the Knicks, I do think, slightly own that. And then let's move on to number 19. We're going to have the Toronto Raptors dropping down a spot. Toronto, man. 6-5 on the year. They're playing just Raptors basketball. Went 3-2 this week. Just a well-coached team. Gritty team. They got a lot of pieces down there. They're just a very cohesive unit. Not a lot. They don't really have a one main star guy, but they got a lot of guys that do the same thing, and it's converted to 6 wins. But also without a superstar, it's proven that they have lost 4 or 5 straight games. So it's been interesting for the Toronto Raptors. But like I've said about a lot of these teams, just the same, just what I expected from the Raptors, and they're only coming down a spot because of another team jumping ahead them. All right, let's move on to number 18. We're gonna have the Pelicans. Drop it down 2 spots here. Mainly because of another couple teams jumping ahead them. But yeah, the Pelicans, they went 1-3 this week, so a disappointing week for Zion Williamson's group. Yeah, but the Pelicans, a lot of talent on this roster. You got Williamson, you got Ingram, you got CJ McCollum, who are all playing solid for you. I mean, Ingram is still out with an injury right now. You obviously got Julius Valanciunas too. I don't even know if that's Jonas Valanciunas. I don't know. I said Julius. My bad. But anyway, you got a decent amount of pieces for the Pelicans, and that's enough for you to be 18 and a play-in tournament team, in my opinion. Let's move on to number 17. We're gonna have the Chicago Bulls dropping down 2 spots at 6-6. The Bulls, a little bit of a wake-up week this week. They went 3-2, but still, really just, again, like the Pelicans, just dropping down because of a couple of the teams that I do think are better jumping ahead. But obviously you got this big unit here with DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Vucevic, all these players. And it's going to convert to a lot of star power, but this defense isn't really good for the Bulls at all. You just got a lot of superstar offensive guys. Defensively, not great. And that's just concern for the Bulls, and it really is setting them back. But they're 6-6 right now. Just a decent enough year. But just really at the midway part of the NBA right now. Let's go on to number 16. We're going to have the Portland Trailblazers at 7-3. Going to be jumping up a spot this week. Just 1 spot, yes, I know. But the Blazers a little bit came back down to earth. They went 2-2 this week. They're 7-3, so you can't discredit that. But yeah, the Blazers, man, but they're still finding ways to win games, and you got to respect them for it. Damian Lillard is playing superstar basketball for the Blazers, carrying this unit. Honestly, I'm shocked, man, because this team does not have a lot other than Damian Lillard, and they found a way to win, and you got to respect them for it. But how long do I think it's going to last? I'm not entirely sure. They do have Simmons, who's been playing solid basketball for them. And they do have Jermaine Grant. So they got some pieces around Damian Lillard, but still, we're going to have to see if the Trailblazers can keep it up. Do I have faith that they will? I'm not entirely sure. Let's move on to number 15. We're going to have the Philadelphia 76ers dropping down 2 spots at 5-6. The Sixers, just went 1-2 this week, or 2-2. So not bad for the Sixers, but not good either, especially when you digged yourself into a hole earlier on in this season. Yeah, and James Harden is out for some time, I heard as well. So that's gonna hurt for the Sixers as well. But it's Joel Embiid's show now. He's one of the best players in the NBA, arguably the best center, even over Nikola Jokic. This team is really, built around him, and let's see if they can, you know, get over 500, and we'll see where we go from there at that point. But still, a lot of Sixers fans would say it's a frustrating start for their program. All right, let's go to number 12. We're gonna have the Brooklyn Nets. Um, gonna be just dropping down 2 spots this week. Came back this week. Man, wait, is this? Yeah, came back this week. Went 4-0. So, 4-1. So you like to see that if you're the Nets. They're right back in this playoff chase. At the moment, Kevin Durant starting to get some things going a bit for this team. Kyrie Irving, this team's got to mesh together. We'll see if they will. I heard that KD, the trade talks for him has opened up again, so I guess that's not really good for. Oh, also the Nets are in this playoff tier, by the way. But anyway, I guess that's not very good for Nets, but I do think KD's just got to man up and lead this team to wins and just not be traded, man. You wanted to come here. You got to prove that you can lead a team. You can't just go to some superstar team. I really would not respect him too much for that. Let's move on to number 13. We're going to have the Minnesota Timberwolves. Gonna be dropping down 3 spots at 5-5. Yeah, the T Wolves. Just really drop it down 3. That's just a random drop down. Don't take too much stock in that. They went 1-2 this week. I still do think the T Wolves are a very good team here. They got a lot of players. KD. Not KD. Cat. You got Rudy Gobert. This defense has stepped up ever since Rudy Gobert. You got D'Angelo Russell and Anthony Edwards. But you're 5-5 right now. That's a little bit of a disappointment, especially a lot of Timberwolves fans thought that they would be in the contenders, amongst the contenders right now. We're going to have to see if they can keep that going. But right now, I do think the Timberwolves are number 13. Number 12, we're going to have the Utah Jazz jumping up 7 spots here. At 8-3, been a very, very impressive start for Utah. Will Hardy, man, what a hire for the Jazz. He has changed this program. I don't know if I'd say change, but he has really turned the tide here because the tide was going, down for the Jazz. It was not looking good, ever since they traded away Rudy for this season, Rudy and Donovan. But, man, Will Hardy has really rallied around this team, and this team has been excellent right now. They're playing as a whole unit. Lauri Markkanen's playing great. Mike Conley's playing good basketball. Jordan Clarkson. All these pieces for the Utah Jazz, man, it's working. And I don't even know, man. It's surprising. I'm just here for the ride with the Utah Jazz. I think that they're a legit team, man. I just think so. Right now, they've proven it. And that's why I do think they're number 12. They went 3-1, by the way, this week. So that's the Jazz. Let's move on to that's done with the play-in tournament here. Let's move on to number 11. We're the Heat. Drop it down at 2 spots. Very, very frustrating start for the Miami Heat. And they're going to drop out of the contender tier as well. The Heat. You gotta blame some things here for Miami. It's just not a very good team. It's just not. They've not played very good so far, but they got a lot of talent. I'm gonna back up the Heat here. They got Jimmy Butler, Hero, Bam Adebayo. All these players. We've seen them go through slumps before, but just last year, this team was the best team in the Heat in the in the East in the regular season. So I'm not sure what's going on in Miami, but I do still believe in this team. We're gonna have to see if they can step it up. We're gonna have to, because if they have another bad week, they might drop down even more. They also went 2-2 this week, which isn't too bad, but 4-7, you got to bounce back from that. All right, let's move on to number 10. We're gonna have the Dallas Mavericks. Jumping up a spot. The Mavericks at 5-3 have been impressive to start out the year. This year, won two straight. But like I said last week, what's holding back the Mavericks? I do think it is the people around Luka. They got Spencer Dinwiddie. He's good. But other than Luka and Dinwiddie, man, I just do not like this team too much because, they're a solid team around them, but just not good enough to elevate Luka and the Mavs to a championship contender style. And right now, it's proven it. 5-3 is not too good. We're gonna have to see if they can keep, if they can get up there and wins. But right now, I still have that take for the Mavericks that they just don't have enough around Luka right now. Let's go to number 9. We're gonna have the Atlanta Hawks jumping up 5 spots. The Hawks, man, at 7-3 right now, have been very impressive to start out this year. Clearly, the addition of DeJounte Murray is really helping out this team. This team looks a lot better with him. And they're 7-3 right now, man. Trae Young's balling out. Not a very good defensive unit here. They do have Collins there, so it helps out there. But just a very explosive team here, and it's working for Atlanta. So I'm not going to move them into the contender tier quite yet. I don't think that they're quite on that level, but they're getting close to that. All right, so let's go into the contenders. Number 8, the most disappointing team so far this year. Well, yeah, I'm not sure about that, but one of the most disappointing teams right now, the Golden State Warriors, the defending champs. I gave them some slack last week at 3-4, kept them at 2, but they're going to be dropping down 6 spots here, down to 8. 3-7 went 0-4. 0-3 this week. I think it's some of it's got to do with Super Bowl hangover with this veteran team, but man, the Warriors just have not played great basketball right now. Also, not a Super Bowl hangover, used to NFL terms. NBA Finals championship hangover. It's coming back to bite the Warriors right now. This is an old unit. We know that, but I still believe in what Curry and Thompson and Green and Jordan Poole bring to this team, and what Kerr brings. It's just been every team goes through slumps, and you got to give some of the teams, especially the Golden State Warriors, you got to give them some slack, man. They just won the championship. But yeah, they're going to have to turn things around because right now they've not played good. All right, so let's move on to number 7. We're going to have the Los Angeles Clippers. Just going to be dropping down a spot here. 5-5 on the year right now. Paul George has done his job, and Kawhi Leonard has not played a lot of games so far. So George has done his job. He's kept this team afloat like he did last season. But this team really needs Kawhi back because this team is scary with Kawhi in there, with his defensive presence and his offense as well. He's just a star, and they need him back, man. It's been a while since I've watched a game with Kawhi Leonard in it. I do think he's played 2 games, but yeah, it's been a while, man. We're going to have to see if he can come back. The Clippers, solid coached team and just a good basketball team, even with only Paul George in there. And with Kawhi, this team is definitely a contender. All right, let's move on to number 6. We're going to have the Denver Nuggets jumping up a spot at 6-3 right now. Denver been pretty impressive to start out this year with Nikola Jokic, the 2-time MVP. But still, for the Denver Nuggets, just still not, Jamal Murray coming back. He's averaging 15 points, so he isn't on quite the same level as he was. It's going to take some time to get back. And that's expected, but clearly it's helping this team win, and I do think that they're definitely a contender with him in right now, and we're gonna have to see if they can keep it going. All right, number 5, a team very, very fun to talk about, the Cleveland Cavaliers, 8-1 right now, the second best record in the whole NBA, jumping up 3 spots. Donovan Mitchell is playing out of his mind for the Cavs right now. It is crazy. Man, he had a down year last year, but clearly he's shooking that off because he's averaging 31.4 points per game for this team, 6 assists. He's stepping it up on defense as well. Wow. Donovan Mitchell, you got to give him some credit. He's helping out this team a lot, and I do think they're a contender. He's one of the I know it's very early, but I do think he's in the MVP conversation right now. He's turned around this Cavs team from last year, which was a very young unit that just really struggled near the end of the season. But what a start for the Cavs. Darius Garland, he's only played 3 games so far. He's getting back, though, for this team, and it's helping them out. This Cavaliers team, man, it's impressive what they're doing here. And they're going to be jumping up 3 spots because of it. All right, let's go on to the number 4 team. We're going to have the Phoenix Suns jumping up a spot at 7-3. Phoenix go 2-2 on this week. Really just jumping up because of the Warriors falling down. Yeah, the Suns, very good regular season team. We all know this with Devin Booker and Chris Paul and Ayton. Can this team step it up in the postseason, though? It's been a question for them. Last year struggled. A couple years ago, made it to the finals, but lost 4 straight games after going up 2-0. So we're going to have to see, man. Chris Paul and this Suns team is a very good team. They just got to step it up come playoff time, and that's really the main question right now for the Suns because they've proven over the past few years they've been like one of the best teams in the regular season, probably the best team in the regular season over the past couple of years. All right, number 3, we're going to have the Memphis Grizzlies jumping up a spot at 7-4. The Grizzlies also just jumping up really because of the Warriors. They went 3-2 this week. So pretty good week for the Grizzlies. John Morant playing really good for this team. This team's very young. They're really starting to hit their stride and just a very scary unit right now. They just got a lot of good players down there in Memphis and just a team you do not want to play. All right, let's go number 2. We're going to have the Boston Celtics jumping up a spot. The runners-up last year for the championship at 7-3. Jason Tatum, this team, very good defensive unit here. They're starting to get over the hump of them losing their coach. They go 3-1 this week, so pretty impressive for the Celtics. My opinion doesn't really change about them, though. They're just a very good team right now, and they're playing great basketball with Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and this whole team. Number 1, though, easy to pick. The Bucks lost their first game today, though. They were the last undefeated team remaining at 9-1. Giannis Antetokounmpo, the star player of the year so far. He is just so special, man. He's just a likable man as well. You love him. You love everything about Giannis. And this team is very good around him as well with Middleton. Just a good team right now. And we're going to have to see, man, if they can keep this going. Giannis Antetokounmpo, he is just a star. You got to really give most of the credit towards him. Then coaching solid. This whole team around him solid. It's just the best team in the NBA right now. And they've proven it over the first 3 weeks. So anyway, guys, thank you all for watching this video today. Hopefully you all enjoyed the content. Comment down below your power rankings. Anyway, peace.